Hey guys, JB here sharing my unique weapon guide for THROATSLICER, one of the best new melee weapons in the game in Nuka World. Before I begin, I want to give a shout out to my friends over at Fudge Muppet. They've made an incredible video on what their ideal Fallout New Orleans would be like, and it's some of the best stuff they've ever made. So I encourage you all to go and check out their video using the link in the description below. I was personally able to contribute some ideas along with a few other Fallout YouTubers, so overall it's a really cool project that you should all go and watch. Fortunately, the THROATSLICER is very easy to get. All you have to do is go to the Nuka Town Market. As you guys know, it's kind of in the central hub area, Nuka Town, USA, of Nuka World, and talk to this one trader that honestly, I didn't know she was a trader. I didn't know she was here. I had no clue, and that's why I didn't know that this weapon was here earlier. And so you're going to go over here and talk to Caitlin Alden, and of course, you're going to ask her to barter, and then just go ahead and sort her items to weapons, and the THROATSLICER will be there. Now, depending on your charisma, this is going to be very expensive. I have 3 charisma on this character, and I don't have the better prices perks. So this, again, is going to be really, really expensive if you don't, have good charisma. Just keep that in mind. So here it is, the THROATSLICER. So this is obviously a blade with the wounding modifier. Targets bleed for 25 points of additional damage. And this is the same modifier that some of the best vanilla weapons in the game like Krem's Tooth and Pikmin's Blade have. So this is really in their tier. It's also a fast speed melee weapon. So you could say its closest competition in the vanilla game would be Pikmin's Blade. But I can tell you right now that THROATSLICER is superior in terms of raw damage. Right now you're looking at what it would be like on a character with no melee perks whatsoever, so that's why you see 52 damage, but we're going to buff that up in a second and see what this real potential is. As we take a look at the modding options, you can tell that the damage is buffed way up because I have maximum strength, maximum big leagues. I don't have any of the barbarian magazines or any armor mods or anything like that, but we only have one modding slot to work with, and fortunately this already gives us one of the best mods available with Serrated Hacking Blade. We get a chance to cripple, extra limb damage, and exceptional damage. We also have the Cutlass Blade option too, but you do need max big leagues and of course rank 3 of Blacksmith to pull that off, and I believe this adds a double bleed effect similar to what the Pikmin's Blade has with those mods, so that's certainly an option if you want to go for that. Overall, I would say the THROATSLICER is definitely a replacement for Pikmin's Blade. If you're going to compare speeds, which is how I like to compare melee weapons, then Pikmin's Blade is fast, so is THROATSLICER. THROATSLICER is definitely a replacement for Pikmin's Blade because of the base damage boost. It really does outclass that weapon. You also have that second modding option that seems to be equally useful. You have certain things that are good for certain situations, others that are good for others. If you need to cripple limbs, and obviously you want to keep that Serrated Hacking Blade, but if you want to go for straight damage, Cutlass Blade might actually be the better option. And certainly the THROATSLICER should be considered as one of the best melee weapons in the game now with Nuka rolled out, especially for stealth melee builds. We really do have some nice different options going along. I mean, I guess you could say THROATSLICER is the best fast melee weapon. You have Sword of Wonders, which is medium, I believe, and then Ceto's Shiny Slugger is a baseball bat, so obviously that is slow. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you're a melee character, if you have any aspirations of using a melee weapon and dealing a ton of damage, then THROATSLICER is something you need to pick up, regardless of any other melee weapons that are in this game. And as if, the sneak melee build wasn't already super overpowered, it's even more ridiculous with this weapon, and you'll be able to just cut through any enemies that you come across with the THROATSLICER if you invest in the perks and the strength, and of course, as you guys know, everything else that goes along with that kind of build. I'd like to hear from you all in the comment section below. Are you going to get the THROATSLICER? Are you going to use those hard-earned caps to get this thing? I think it's really worth it again if you want to use melee weapons, but share your plans in the comment section below. Alright guys, today I shared a quick guide on how to get the THROATSLICER in Nuka World. Next time we will cover more Fallout on my channel, so stay tuned for Fallout 4 tips and tricks videos. If you learned something new or enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button, I would really appreciate it, and don't forget to subscribe for more Nuka World coverage and general tips and tricks videos. Talk to you guys next time. Peace!